So today we celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family. This feast was actually originally observed in 1921 on the Sunday within the octave of Epiphany. In 1969, it was moved to the Sunday within the octave of Christmas. I think it's more appropriate right here where it is during the Christmas season. We tend during the Christmas season to gravitate towards spending time rejoicing and celebrating with our families. Though in these times of COVID, that might be virtually or telephonically or as safely as possible. The love within a family is one of the greatest loves you can quantify here on earth. It's an unconditional love. We've all heard the saying that blood is thicker than water. And I've said it in previous homilies. I say now that love is thicker than both of them. What's family? We often think of the Holy Family as a nuclear family, but they weren't. Not long ago, one would describe a normal family as a nuclear family, one with a birth father and mother and children. Joseph was not your typical father. He met Mary at the temple, who had already devoted herself to God. And Joseph, with his rod and of great age, much to Mary Sr., agreed to espouse Mary. This relationship was not that associated with lust, but one that persists kind of love of a caretaker and protector. And the baby Jesus, as we know, was not Joseph's blood child. This is no different than some relationships that we label as maybe step-parent, a grandparent, or a close friend who is part of our family that devotes themselves to your protection, happiness, and growth. So I ask you again, what is family? Family is love. Family is relationship. God, who came in the form of man as Jesus Christ through the fiat of Mary, is a relationship of love. Families grow and blossom through loving relationships. Family are those who are near to heart, those who have and are willing to make sacrifices for you, those who exhibit God's loving unconditional love to you regardless of legal relationship, and those who you love back in the very same way. This familial love is a glimpse of the love that Jesus has for us, and what we should be striving for to return to Him and to His people. Many have spoken of our throwaway culture we have today. This reference can be applied not only to material things, but also to our relationships with one another and our relationship with God. This I world that we live in today has pulled us as a society away from the we world that we should be living in, through love and through relationships. Familiar relationships, however, are not always easy. They may often encounter misunderstandings, sadness, anxiety, and they might also require sacrifice. In the gospel today, you find Jesus missing from the rest of the family in the caravan, leaving the celebration of the Passover feast. How Mary and Joseph must have felt, could you imagine, full of anxiety and stress that they had lost Jesus. It took 3 days before they were able to locate Jesus, and then found him in the temple. Could you imagine losing your child for 3 days missing? Those 3 days of the Feast of the Passover, after the Feast of the Passover, are also suggestive of the 3 days that Jesus will later spend in the tomb after his death and prior to his resurrection. Once they located him, Mary said to Jesus, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been looking for you with great anxiety." And Jesus replies, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know I'd be in my Father's house?" The Gospel then states that they did not understand what he said. In fact, it might have even been painful with what he said, especially to Joseph when Jesus replied, "This is my Father's house." Though they did not understand what he said, Mary kept those things in her heart, suggesting that she might have been a bit upset. Coming down from her anxiety of losing her child and possibly a little angry with his response, but allowing Jesus to continue to question and continue to grow in his own wisdom. We don't hear a lot of Jesus' childhood, but here you can see that the Holy Family was much like all other human families, I'm sure with their trials and tribulations. But we also need to find comfort to know that we are all God's children. It is in our relationship with our Father in heaven that provides the foundation through unconditional love for all other loving relationships. And let us not forget that it is through our relationship with our Mother in heaven that she will intercede, as always, to point us to Jesus Christ. Today we celebrate our families, our parish family, the families of our parishioners, our individual family members, whether near or far. We also celebrate our mission families, especially those who are elders and those who have passed, those who have raised us and become strong, filled us with wisdom, and shared God's true love with us, as the Holy Family did for baby Jesus. Be mindful of your love for others. Amen.